Before the council, we have a 5-minute public comment period at the beginning of the council, and I think it was like 23 or 24 people that spoke for the Muslim community about the stories. And what I'm here for is the resolution we passed. It needs to be passed in other municipalities. It calls, as Steve said, for the government to re-examine the cases of the Muslims with the preemptive prosecution and the agent provocateurs, as the Inspector General asked, and that's what it is. It's simple. It just, that's what it asked for. It's, that the government really should follow the Inspector General's advice. And it wasn't just one Inspector General. It was 5 of them from different departments of the federal government that did this study. And that's what it does. But we need to have, it has to be broader. We need people from Syracuse and other cities and other states to do this. As Steve said, we need, in order to get Congress to take action, in order to get the other parts of the government to do something, they need to hear from as many voices as they can. An example of this is when we tried to pass this in Albany. We had all these people come up, it was in April, to vote on to speak. And one of our council members, who happens to be an attorney, could not believe that our government acted this way. He could, and he's not a young man, he's 60 years old, so he's not much older than me, actually. But he couldn't believe it. He said, no, our government doesn't do that. We don't hold evidence back in cases. They can't do that. They can't have, they have to show you all the evidence. They don't come out and listen on your phone calls with, wireless wiretaps. It doesn't happen. And luckily, Kathy Manley was there and works for the law firm she works for, that this council member knew one of the principals of that law firm, and he spoke well. If that's really true, I mean, this guy's a Vietnam War veteran and all this stuff. I have a lot of respect for him, and if that's really true, then I'll support the resolution, which he did. But he couldn't get into his mind, and that's, if it's true with him, it's true in a broader sense, because he's not the only one thinking that way. That people have got to see really what's going on, and the best way is through the stories like we heard today, to have the people come and tell us the truth, tell us what really happened, tell the brothers and the fathers and the uncles, how the FBI came in, in the early morning hours and after midnight and did these things, and with what evidence, and like I said, setting people up, it's entrapment, and let people know that. But we need to get the word out, and the reason we did it for the Common Council of Albany is the way I explain to people. We're the closest to the people. Your city council, town boards, those types of things, they're the ones that are closest to the people. So they're the ones that you interact with. In Albany, we have about 6,500 people in each of our wards that we represent. So it's the smallest group. We get to know a lot of the people personally. They can come and speak to us a lot easier than they can go to like a state senator or an assemblyman or a House representative, a congressman or U.S. senator. I mean, just think of how big the districts are. As U.S. senators representing the whole state. So they don't have the same level of contact as your local government does. So that's why you need to look on the local level. And then it'll go up. I mean, we sent a resolution to our congressional representatives, our U.S. senators. I sent a letter both to President Obama and to Attorney General Holder. Neither of them have answered the letter with a copy of the resolution. But saying this is what we did in Albany, is what our constituents are saying, and this is a concern of theirs. And it's beyond just being a concern because it's Muslims that are involved. It's a concern because if they can do it for one group, as we've seen in the past, it can affect other people and other groups.
I only looked into one of the cases described by Project Salam, that of Dr. Rafael Dafir. In February 2003, just before the Iraq invasion, he was arrested in Syracuse, New York. Then the governor of New York, at the time, Pataki, bragged about how a terrorist suspect had been taken in. But Dafir wasn't charged with terrorism. He was charged with sending money to Iraq. You must recall that from 1990 to 2003, it was against the law to send money to Iraq. It was U.S. policy then to starve and sicken Iraqis to death as a way of pressuring Saddam Hussein. So it was illegal to send anything over there. Dafir was convicted of sending several $1 million, much of it his own money, over to Iraq, and other white-collar crimes. He was sentenced to 22 years in prison and has been there ever since. Now, legal action continues, and this fall a judge will hear a plea about whether he should be resentenced. I wrote a piece on this for Op-Ed News, arguing that the sentence should be reduced to some time served. After all, no matter what else he was doing, he was saving lives. You can read it at our website, thestruggle.org.